So I've been drawing for as long as I can remember. But there have been periods in my life where I've went on without drawing for quite a long time. Ever since I was a kid, I always loved to draw. And I was always encouraged by my family members. However, when I turned 16 years old, the teachers in my school started asking me what I want to do with my life. And they used to single me out quite a bit because I actually did pretty well at school. I was one of the top students in my high school. But I also loved to draw, and in my school, there were no art classes or anything like that. Art wasn't really a thing that people talked about. It was just like a taboo thing. It's just like something the kids did just to have fun. No one saw it as anything else. So at age 16, when my teachers asked me what I want to be when I grow up, deep down I knew that it would be cool if drawing could be something that could play a role in my future. But it just felt like an embarrassing thing to say. So I just said, I want to be a scientist, And they started telling me, you need to buckle down. You're a bright student, but you mustn't play around. You need to get serious about your future. Focus on your studies and keep pushing. And I took that advice very seriously. That's what I did. I actually just stopped drawing completely from that day on, because I remember very well asking myself, okay, these little drawings that I'm doing, what am I gonna do with this? It's fun, but I need to get serious. I need to grow the hell up. So yeah, that's what I did. I started focusing on my studies more, and I didn't touch a pencil. By that I mean I didn't draw again for the next 9 years of my life. For the next 9 years, I was focused on my studies, building a career. And that's what I did. I became a technician. I studied electrical engineering and got a nice job. Started my career as a junior technician, and today I'm an engineer. And I am actually very grateful that I made that decision. I really like my career. However, I also kind of wish that I didn't stop drawing. I wish I could have just, kept doing that as a hobby, because I love it. It's not something that I see as a potential career or as a way to make money anymore, right? And I'm cool with that. I just wanna do it on the side, and for supporting myself, I have a career that I also like and I also love. But yeah, like I said, I just wish I didn't stop drawing, making a little bit of time to draw for fun. So how I got back into drawing, in 2013, I was at work. I remember I was at work, and then I was chatting with this other colleague of mine. And as we're chatting, he pulls out his phone and he starts showing me some illustrations that he does on his spare time. I'm like, wow, you like to draw. And he was into pinup. He made like he liked to draw pinup sketches, and I was like, man, that's pretty cool. I like pinup work as well. And then I said to him, I actually, when I was in high school, I used to draw quite a bit. I used to love drawing. And then this guy asked me, oh, okay, then why did you stop? And I didn't have an answer. I remember I just stood there and repeated that question to myself. I'm like, yeah, why did I stop? And that was it. That day, I went home, I pulled out a pencil and pulled out one of my notebooks and started sketching. And as I'm sketching, I'm looking at I can't even remember what I drew, but I do remember looking at whatever it is I drew and thinking, this really sucks. I'm a bad artist. Why did I? Because I remember I have a very distinct memory of me looking at the stuff I used to draw and thinking, oh, that's pretty cool. But then when I looked at what I just sketched in my notebook, I'm like, oh, this is crap. But things are different now, I'm living in the age of the internet. Social media is a big thing, and there's information to be found on the internet. So of course, what I did is I went straight to YouTube and I just typed how to draw. And one of the first video that actually popped out was a video by an artist named Mark Crilley. And the video was called How to Draw a Realistic Eye. And when I saw that video and how this guy was teaching and the way he was sketching, I'm like, oh man, I want to do that. I want to do what this guy is doing. And from that day on, Mark Crilley became my go-to YouTuber when it comes to drawing tutorials. He became my favorite artist. I watched a lot of his videos. And I bought his books as well. I bought he had a book called Mastering Manga. I bought that because I love anime, I love manga. So he was drawing in the manga style. And I also bought some of his graphic novels. He's got two series of graphic novels, one called Mickey Falls and the other one called Brody's Ghost. And I remember I bought all of those books as they were coming out. And I was in it, man. I was in it and I was having a lot of fun. And I remember asking myself, man, why did I ever stop? I love doing this. I love drawing. And Mark Crilley actually really, really inspired me. And I wanted to basically do what he's doing. It's like, man, I also want to make graphic novels, So I started learning everything I need to know about making comics. Started diving into other comics, and I actually started collecting comics. And I've always been a DC guy. I'm a big DC guy. I know the DC movies have not really been that successful over the years. Well, they have, but they're not really loved by the masses, I've realized. I actually like quite a few of them. Even the ones that people don't like, I actually love them. But I think that's a topic for another video. But I'm a big DC guy, so I started collecting DC comics. And that's where I stumbled upon an artist named Jim Lee, who became my new favorite artist. In fact, to this day, Jim Lee is probably still my favorite artist ever. The way that man draws, the way he draws his figures. His figures have so much dynamism, so much energy. Like his way of storytelling is so good. And he's a technical, precise type of an artist. And I like that about him. So yeah, Jim Lee is probably my favorite artist ever. His work really, really, really inspired me. So yeah, I collected a lot of books. It was mostly the New 52 comic book series that I collected. And I was focused mainly on Jim Lee's art. Yeah, I got into it, man, and I wanted to make my own comics. So that's what I started doing. I remember I made a few web comics, but I never stuck to any of those. So there was just a lot of projects that I started and I stopped. I created a graphic novel that basically my plan was to self-publish it using Amazon's print-on-demand services. And I remember I published like a single chapter. I'll try to put it up on the screen. This single chapter of this planned graphic novel that I wanted to do, because I just wanted to go through the whole process of self-publishing to just understand how everything works. But the book sucks. The story sucks, and the artwork is terrible in that book. Looking at it now, I'm like, so embarrassed by it. But yeah, it was. I was just experimenting, trying different kinds of things. I tried a lot of things, because that tends to happen, I think, when you get back into drawing and you haven't done it in a long time. There's just so many ways to go, so many art styles, so many things to try. Do you want to do pinup art? Do you want to make comics? There's a whole range of things that you can do. But yeah, I guess the point I'm trying to make is if you haven't been drawing for a long time, just get started. Just get started, and whatever your interests go, just go with it. Try things. You're going to try, you're going to fail, you're going to realize some things you're not really that into. But try not to expect too much from yourself. Just have fun. I know this is something that I keep coming back to. Just this idea of having fun with your art, and try not to take it too seriously, because that can suck the fun out of it and just make you put the pencil down in frustration. That actually happened to me in those early years when I got back to drawing again. I remember one of the things that used to frustrate me quite a bit is the way I was drawing. Like, I was very timid and my lines were so wobbly, And it's only later when I learned this idea of just being loose with your lines, and trying not to be too timid. So yeah, the drawing that you see me make today is it's actually a master study by another favorite artist of mine named Oscar Martin. I've actually made a video about him a couple of days ago. Yeah, I just love his art style as well. It's so cool. It is so cool. But if someone was to ask me who's my favorite artist, I'm gonna have to go with Jim Lee. Jim Lee is my favorite artist. I love that man's work. It's really good. It's really, really good. Anyway, all I wanted to say today, thanks for watching, and catch you next time. Cheers.
bit by bit, creative imagination began to the new art form.